Welcome to a new episode of the Justin Hamilton podcast. Today we are going to discuss the third episode in Alien Earth, a series that I've got to be honest, I'm just really loving. It's completely in my wheelhouse, and yeah, look, I get not everything is for everyone, and that is a good thing, but this is definitely for me. So I'm really pretty happy. I feel like it's been a pretty good year for sci-fi TV series so far. And this baby, Alien, being one of my all-time favorite movies, is, it's right there, right, exactly what I'm looking for in an Alien series so far, anyway. Um, Before we get into it, a couple of quick things. First up, we have a sponsor. Yes, we have Wonder Pies who have stepped in as a sponsor for the rest of the year. And I'm wrapped because I was a fan of their product before they came along and said, would you like a sponsor? And I was like, yeah, yeah, I would like a sponsor, especially if it's a delicious sponsor. Wonder Pies get that blend of the right kind of thickness with the crust, with the filling, just perfect. You know, we've eaten pies and pasties and sausage rolls and all of those kinds of things in the past, but sometimes you bite into it, the pastry's too thick and your mouth's really dry, and you're like, oh God, there was barely anything in it. And we've also gone the opposite route, where you bite into something and the pastry's so thin and flimsy, burning hot lava burns out through this fake pastry and burns apart your face and your hands before you even get to eat it. This is perfect. So if you would like to check out their cafes, they're all throughout Victoria. But if you are thinking, I live in the state, I'd like to try these out, they have really good prices on box sets. So if you head to wonderpies.com.au, you can find all of the delicious options that they have there. And you know what? If you're like me and you're vegetarian, there's some great vegetarian and vegan options as well. So, you know what? I reckon even if you want something a little bit healthier and you like your beef, man, try the vegan pie out. The woman, when she served me, said, and I'm not making this up, this isn't one of those kind of little ad things to try and convince you that something's good. But when I decided to try it, she said, look, I just need to let you know I have vegans and vegetarians coming up all the time, and you know, telling me I've given them a meat pie. And I'm like, okay, no worries. And I bit into it. I was like, well, thank God for the warning. I would have definitely come up and complained this is a meat pie. So head to wonderpies.com.au and you will find some delicious options there. Friends in Adelaide, it is 25 years since Adelaide Comedy kick-started its life. Limo and I started it back at PJ O'Brien's in the year 2000. Sounds like a pulp song all of a sudden. And then it's continued for these last 25 years. Craig Egan has been running it over there in Adelaide. And I've been going back intermittently to celebrate. I filmed a couple of shows there this year. You can find one of them on my Patreon site. And yeah, it has been a really fun year of celebration. So on the 19th of September, old school Adelaide comedians Mickey D and Charlie Hill Smith, who hosted my very first show back in 1994. We're going to be putting on a show. Mickey and I are going to do some stand-up. Then the three of us are going to record a podcast. Then Charlie Hill Smith's band, Truckers for Christ, are going to play. Yes, Truckers for Christ. So it's going to be a really fun variety night. And if you would like to come down to that, check out adelaidecomedy.com and you will find all the details there. Patreon subscribers, hit me up in the DMs because I'll put you on the door because this is going to sell out. So I'll make sure that you don't miss out on this show. And also, you shouldn't pay because you're a Patreon subscriber. Okay, let's get into the latest episode of Alien Earth, and yeah, this is just been pretty fantastic. Oh, this episode was called Metamorphosis. Is that right? Gosh, yes, it was Metamorphosis. I've got all these different notes here, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on, especially when there's so many things that you're enjoying in this series. This one starts off with my favorite character, Kirsch, played by the always wonderful Timothy Olyphant. He's really busy gathering data on all the different types of aliens. I managed to, this is how nerdy I got. I screen, well, I paused. That's what I did. I tried to give it a fancy name, but I paused. And some of the stuff that they were saying about these species, that there's the one that's a flowery type of species. And in the writing, it says the leaves form a mouth, eats flora and fauna. It asphyxiates, dissolves, or uh, uses exhaustion to kill the animals that it gets a hold on. Um, it closes up when under threat, and once closed, can't be opened. So that was interesting when, in the previous episode, that synthetic and the alien were kind of checking each other out and opened up for a little bit. So that's fascinating. And the eye, oh God, the eye alien, it says it has remarkable solving skills near human level. So uh, there's something interesting about that because it means it's kind of like a I suddenly felt like it's like an octopus, like it's an alien octopus. So and we all know how much smarter octopuses are than we ever really gave them credit for, as we do with most animals. So that's just some of the stuff that they had written on those screens, and it's creepy and also creepy the way Kirsch is just a little bit fascinated and not really worried. I really. I really hope that well, he's definitely one of the characters I absolutely want to survive to the end of this series. I'm under the impression that it's an ongoing series, but anyway, we'll see. So Kirsch is gathering data. We've had Nibs, who is flashing back to the encounter with that eyeball alien, and she's starting to be a little bit freaked out, as you think she should be. It's bad enough that she's woken up in this synthetic body. She's having to get her head around who she is now. And now she's been having these flashbacks to this one-on-one experience with this eye alien. And, she's starting to question things. Like when she's talking to Curly, she's, suddenly wondering, well, why can't we keep our names, And yeah, and it's interesting because uh, it appears Curly is pretty much locked in with Prodigy, and doesn't really want to worry about it too much. But Nibs is starting to question everything that's going on. Um, and I wonder, uh, hypothetically, I start to wonder if there's going to be some sort of mutiny. And, because we're just starting to see a little bit of pushback, a little bit of questioning of the hierarchy. Something's brewing, I think, and Boy Cavalier is making for the smartest guy in the room, as he would undoubtedly picture himself. He is like really smart people, emotionally a dickhead. Um, so he's starting to kind of do some things that are stupid, like he tries to embarrass Kirsch. I think the line here is, "I thought you were supposed to be better than a man, but all I'm hearing are excuses." And it's interesting. Timothy Olyphant plays it so beautifully. He plays it with just, if you're not paying attention, he plays it with a little subtle sense of humor. And you can see him, even though his face is blank, he takes that in. He's taken that on board. Um, Meanwhile, our favorite siblings, God, tough time for Hermit, right? Like, uh, your dad's dead, you've lost your sister as well, you're trying to get by in life, you've tried to change your job, that's been, uh, you know, rejected, possibly because of without him knowing, the interference of his sister. He's gone into a crashed spaceship. That's pretty stressful. And now he's had to deal with a xenomorph, and that's some scary shit. And now his sister's back, and her name's Wendy, and she kicks ass. So just let's have a moment for Hermit. This has been a big day. Man, I loved all of this. I'm really into the character of Wendy. I think she's great. I think she carries on the tradition of strong women in the alien universe in a way that is exciting. And, she's got her flaws. Like, it's not superhuman. It's not ticking boxes. It's a good, strong character. And, far out. Uh, Having been an Alien fan for decades, the moment when they were having the fight and she got the claw into the tongue and the alien was kind of fucked, uh, I found that really thrilling because it had never crossed my mind that maybe it'd be a good idea to do that. So, um, that was just I just found all of that really thrilling. And once again, uh, having action behind the door. You know what it reminded me of? I can't remember the episode, but remember in the first Fargo series where um, Billy Bob Thornton's character just goes through the building and you're watching it from the outside and the lights and the screaming and the gunfire, and then he kind of comes out at the end. And this to me was the badass version of Wendy and the alien taking this on. And to be honest, uh, I wondered if she'd killed the alien, but I thought she might have been in. She's obviously damaged after this. We see the white blood that synthetics have, which is the circulatory fluid. Spilling from her head wounds and kind of being knocked out. But man, she decapitated that xenomorph, and I thought that was pretty great. And so that whole scene just ends with oh, poor Hermit vomiting and passing out. So there's synthetic jizz, there's xenomorph blood, there's vomit. Man, when you like Alien is just a franchise about just what it's like to be constantly getting liquid all over you. That's what this whole series is. Anyway, I loved all of that. So that kind of puts the two of them out for a little while, and we will get back to Wendy at the end of the episode. Um, Yes, Morrow running around, the lone survivor of the Maginot. What's some really, really great scenes with him in this. I loved that, uh, when he gets in touch with the CEO of Weyland Yutani, he's like, uh, hang on, who's this? And it's the granddaughter of the woman who Morrow originally sorted and you know got this business from. Well, that was 65 years ago. He's been gone for 65 years. Really, really interesting and creative use of time and doing so logically as well. That's what I really like about it. There's a logic to it that makes sense, even though you may not have really thought about it. Oh yeah, he's been gone for 65 years, no worries. Oh my God. Of course the person who booked him to do this job wouldn't be around any longer. He's probably missed a couple of CEOs. So I found all of that to be great. Um, I enjoyed uh, I enjoyed Slightly and Smee, who get cornered by Morrow, and that whole scene was interesting because um, like the kids can work out there's something going on with him. He can work out there's something going on with them, and the two parties are playing a game with each other, and they're both trying to get extra information out of each person. The problem is that the other two are kids. I think the actors are doing a really good job. I know that there's a lot of pushback on young kids being synthetics, but I've really enjoyed it, and I feel like these actors have done a magnificent job. What are the actors' names? Adarash Gurav, who is playing Slightly, and Jonathan Ajayi, who is playing Smee. I think they do a really good job of never letting you forget that they're children, but also at the same time, there is. It's not. I don't think they're overacting at all. I think they're doing a really good job, and the fear that they start to feel around Morrow and Morrow, digging in to their psyches and trying to get more answers is really well played. And then, he manages to slip a dissolvable piece of him, of Morrow onto Slightly's neck, and then when Kirsch turns up, all of that backwards and forwards is great. And once again, uh, Oliphant's really funny. Just really funny. This is just on a slight tangent. This was, for the most part, I actually quite like the Netflix Sandman series. I quite enjoyed it, to be honest, regardless of all of the game and stories on the outside. And I thought they got a lot of it right. But I really thought that they um, didn't get Lucifer right because Lucifer in the comics, apart from being based on David Bowie, which always, will appeal to me, um, he's really funny, and he's the second most powerful creature in the universe in existence. So he's a bit bemused by things and can kind of get angry, but for the most part, everything's below him. Like even Dream is scared of him. And what I like about, and then in the series, it was played, and this is not a crack on the actor. I think this is a choice by the director and the team, but he was played as Lucifer, and it's like that's all a bit too much. And Kirsch is better than human, and is pretty powerful and smart. And what is he? He's a bit bored. He's a bit annoyed. He finds things a bit funny. And I think that's what makes him potentially very scary and where young Mr. Cavalier might be making a terrible mistake. Um, yes, so oh, what was there's a funny moment where Morrow calls slightly, and there's a lack of subtlety. That was the word I was thinking of when Morrow is getting in touch with Slightly from a BDSM club, and um, yes, a BDSM club is full of dominance and whips being cracked, etc. So I get I get the metaphor that's going on here, guys. But it was obvious. Who cares? It made me laugh. But it's also a bit creepy because poor Slightly's 12 years old. But anyway, let's not think about that too much. Um, what else do we have to talk? Curly, yes. Uh, Curly talking to Cavalier, wanting to, assert Wendy as her boss's favorite lost boy. Um, and it's interesting, she's already thinking about how she can refine herself and how she can improve herself with a level of sophistication like learning French. Um, and she wants to show her loyalty and points out that Wendy is loyal to her brother and not much else. So I thought that was a nice little twist. What else? I kind of wonder if Boy Cavalier, um, was he trying to create a mate with Wendy? Did we mention that in the last one? I'm not sure that I'm aligned with that theory. I'm just throwing it out there. It's just something that crossed my mind as to, she is incredibly beautiful and I don't know, she's Um, she's I could be reading too much into this. Let me just say that, but she's tall and lithe, and he's skinny, and anyway, I just kind of sometimes people are trying to create. They're attracted to someone who kind of looks a little bit like them. How many times have you met a couple and your first thought is, oh, this is brother and sister, or brother and brother, or sister and sister, and then you find out that they're dating, and you go, gee, okay, well, you like what you like. Um, also, the uh, Kirsch doing uh, the surgery on the egg was, man, that was honestly one of my favorite scenes because uh, as we've kind of discussed, um, they use your knowledge of those aliens against us and to create tension. And so the whole time I'm like, I know he's synthetic and in cyborg. What is Kirsch? Anyway, whatever he is he a replicant? Are we ready to go that far? Anyway, we kind of know that the alien's not going to out because it's not picking up on human vibes, as it were, but it is still makes you feel anxious while it's happening. I thought that was really, really well done. And by this stage, Wendy wakes up, and it seems like she now has some sort of connection to the aliens. So I don't know what's quite happened there, but she gets knocked out, almost hearing their psychic screams. And let's not forget, we still have the prodigy scientists, Dame and Arthur, who are worried that Boy Cavalier is taking them away from the original idea of what their project was, which was the hybrid project, and instead he's now wanting to discover new species. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see where those characters go as well. So look, I found this to be a really fascinating episode because it is in some ways uh, it's the end of the first story. Like it feels like it's a one, two, three, and this is the last half was kind of like the prologue. Oh, sorry, the epilogue of the first three, and now it is getting ready to send us in a different direction. Now, just excuse me for 1 second. I forgot to look this up, and this is such bad work when you have been doing this for a long time. But Jared on Patreon has been sending me some messages, emails, and so yes, he points out in Aliens the Queen knew the Bishop. That Bishop was a synth, and they can clearly detect them in some way. So yeah, that's I think that's kind of what we've talked about with. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's some sort of pheromones that they pick up on. So um, yes, that's something that we had discussed. Um, there's funny, isn't it? Do you notice as uh, Jared points out that the all of these things are kind of being talked about in pop culture ways, older, more pristine, blah blah blah. So nostalgia is worth money now, and this will only accelerate. And so, I quite like all the different touches of nostalgia in this series. I really I think that's an interesting thing to see these things, survive and take on their own mythology that appeals to people in the future. Um, and it feels like he's playing around with some kind of building blocks. Boy Cavalier is quite clearly, once again, a genius, but an absolute emotional idiot. So, um, yes, blah 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 blah. Uh, And Jared's pointed out something that comes up later, which I did not know about because I have not seen that. You know what? I'm not gonna say it in case you don't know what it is either. Uh, yeah, I'll leave that. I think he pointed out something in a trailer, but I've kind of put off that stuff. Um, like I watched each trailer. I think I watched the first trailer once and went, I'm in. And then I think I watched another trailer and went, no, 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 I'm still in. And then I haven't watched anything else. So if you haven't seen stuff, I might not mention that. But nothing bad. But I'll just refrain. That's why you do it beforehand, Hammo. You can check these things out and not have to make people listen to you try and work things out on the fly. Work them out before, mate. You've only been podcasting for 15 years. Is there anything else that I have missed out on from this? Blah, 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 blah. Oh man, the surgery on Hermit. Oh God, and the tiny little sperm alien, is that what that was? And then placed in the lung. God damn. What a scene, right? I can't believe I forgot to mention that. All of that was making me feel super anxious. Um, yes, Kirsch. What else did I have about Kirsch? Yes, it's interesting that everything that the kids see, they record through the eyes. So surveillance is, well, that's something new that we can look forward to. Won't there be a wonderful time when glasses and contact lenses will be somehow plugged into the net and everyone can see everything you do? There's a part of me that thinks suck shit. Like, do you want to see me having a poo? Yeah, you'll have to see it. Um, I'll just do lots of gross things if that's what's going on. Just fill up their feed until they no longer want to look through my glasses to check anything out. No, I think that's kind of all the notes that I covered. Did I miss anything? Tell me what you loved. Share with me your thoughts. Give me your ideas of where this is going to go. Um, Morrow quite clearly is on a mission, and yeah, I think Prodigy is probably in for a run of bad luck because Mr. Cavalier is just a bit too cavalier. Sometimes you don't have to live up to your name, you know, it can get you in trouble. But I'm really starting to take to some of these characters, and you know, in Alien, you can't, in the franchise, you just can't be married to too much because you never know how it's going to go. All right, let's finish there. A couple of quick plugs. Remember, September 19th in Adelaide, big show. So go to adelaidecomedy.com and you will find out more details there. Once again, I remind you, Patreon subscribers in Adelaide, DM me so I can put you on the list. I have a Substack which I've launched. It has two ongoing pieces in there. There's the Dispatches from the Fury Road. The latest one is ties into Alien Earth. Actually, it's a list of my five favorite horror movies. And I probably play with the idea of what a horror movie is a little bit. So feel free to disagree that some of these are horror, but they're horror to me. Uh, then the other one is One Foot in the Spotlight, which is an ongoing memoir, which is going to cover my 3+ decades in the industry, how I got started, the things I've learned. So it'll have some practical stuff in there. It'll have stories about, well, we started back. At the moment, the latest post is about my writing in the 70s and just coming into the 80s, and then we will get into well, we've already kind of kicked into the 90s just before our first gig. Unfortunately, the way my brain works, I apologize. I've read too many non-linear things in my life, and it's just like, no, I want to get to this bit. I'll get to this bit. So it's going to jump around everywhere, but in the end, it's going to tell a complete story. Lots of insights into the 90s, 2000s, 2010s up until now. And maybe a little bit of Hollywood gossip. And when I say Hollywood, I mean Australian entertainment industry. But, you know, maybe there'll be a bit of Hollywood gossip there. I've worked with some surprising names that will come out down the track. I have a YouTube page which is slowly being built. Recently, I left management, so I've got a sphere of things that need to be done, and I'm slowly smoothing that sphere down. But everything's taking a bit of time. But you can find that or Patreon, which will get you live filmed shows, bonus podcasts, that kind of thing. If you want to look for all of that stuff, you can find it at the revamped website, justinhamilton.com.au, and you can find all the links for stuff there. Okay, damn. Can't wait for Wednesday. I hope you're enjoying Alien Earth as much as I am, and I hope you're looking after yourself. Until then.